Spell for rest. Rest has always been an essential part of the life cycle, but with the advent of industrialisation and the rise of capitalism and consumer culture, endless growth and productivity are what we are told to aspire to. But we discover at our own peril what happens if we get rid of recovery and rest. Our wise animal bodies function at a fraction of their capacity, or not at all, without the time and space to rest. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity, an essential. Time to assimilate and do nothing with no agenda. Winter is the natural invitation to go with the wisdom of nature and rest more. Hibernate like these common and banded garden snails. Bury yourself deep in your nest for a season, like the queen wasp. The magic circle begins this spell. The pressure to be busy and productive is so pervasive in our culture, it's essential to have a boundary, a protection to help us create a softer space. The dark glossy leaves and blue reflections of the ivy and holly were a real challenge. They both also support so much life in winter when all else sleeps. The holly blue butterfly needs both the holly and the ivy to survive. Ivy quietly clambers, self-supporting in any plane, horizontal or vertical. Here they are also firmly outside the inner circle where all is still. You'll find yew trees in most of the graveyards in the UK. They sometimes even predate the churches. The yew tree has been associated with death and the journey of the soul from this life to the next for thousands of years. Celtic Druids saw yew as a sacred plant and planted it close to their temples to use in death rituals, being a symbol of death but very much alive. Many churches were built on the sites of temples, and Christian and pagan imagery and beliefs are often mixed together. Yew trees can be thousands of years old. Sometimes known as the ever-living tree, they can regenerate from branches that take root, and they constantly send out new shoots. Mistletoe fruits in the depths of winter, providing valuable food for animals and insects. It's parasitic and grows in very satisfying pom-pom shapes in host trees. This piece came from an old apple tree. The whole plant is poisonous to humans, but we kiss under it as a symbol of fertility when all else is dormant in winter. Perfect to keep out of the inner circle for the spell for rest. When everything else is dormant, the hazel blooms. They are my favourite flowers, tiny and bright pink, surprisingly exotic but very easy to miss unless you're looking, and such an unexpected treat in the depths of winter. If you tap the tassels when they're ripe on a sunny day, you'll be rewarded with an explosion of yellow pollen. Did you know that snails hibernate? When the temperature drops, they seal their shell and hunker down somewhere sheltered, often in groups. They respond to the temperature, so even though the studio was freezing when I painted these, the snails woke up from their sleepover during the drawing session, causing an emergency evacuation. There are two types of native snail featured here. The garden snail, which are sociable snails hibernating in big groups for safety, and the much shyer banded snail, which tends to snuggle themselves into nooks and crannies for the winter alone. Many thanks to Jessica Law for sharing her knowledge and expertise about snails with me. I was lucky enough to find this wasp's nest in my shed. It's perfect for the inner circle of my spell for rest. The queen wasp hibernates all winter, and the delicate, intricate design and structure of the nest was too delicious not to paint. After some very careful investigation, I was sure this nest was not inhabited, and I began my session, and there was something moving in it. It turns out that the nest was acting as a hotel to some moths and a load of tiny mites. I just got it finished in time, and time to put it out of the studio. Often it feels like we may need some magic to make rest happen. Rest is critical for our health and happiness, but anything which is unproductive may feel very countercultural. Let others carry on and watch their frantic madness from the comfort of your cocoon. It's hard to go against the societal pressure, and you might need the support of this spell to remind you that life is not a race. Rest is radical. Rest is where insight, inspiration and recovery are. Rest creates opportunity. When and how do you rest? Let this spell remind you to stop and feel into the wisdom of the natural seasons of your animal body. You might just find that health and insight live there.